I got the Mac with the cheese.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you guys for joining us for GunTalk.
Makena.
Makena from South Africa joining us here on GunTalk. Discuss pretty much hunting. So GunTalk today is gonna be more about hunting. Makena, do you want to tell them is that organization is about? I got it. The website pulled up right now.
Yeah. Right. The name of my organization is Matlhalerwa Extreme Adventures. Our main business, we do a lot of adventure, but the core business is hunting. So, Matlhalerwa means an African wild dog. So that's one of my favorite species out there in the jungle. It's because of its successful hunts, its characteristics. You see, they live in packs, and only the alpha male and alpha female can breed, but the whole pack go out hunting, and then they come back and regurgitate the food for the puppies. So it's teamwork, it's solidarity, it's successful hunts. Yeah, it's quite a lot of things that you can say about the dog. So I like it, hence I named my company after that. So it was registered a few years ago. I just can't remember exactly when I was still working, and then last year in September I quit my job to start working on the business full time. Wow. So I'm currently targeting the locals, also into empowering the black hunters, the local black hunters, because the market has been a little bit closed for them. So, but with the transition, we're trying now to bring more guys into hunting.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a huge task to undertake. And in South Africa,
sure, yeah.
Is there a lot of black hunters in South Africa?
There's a lot of interest. The thing is, you see, with our gun laws now getting a little bit stricter as well, and more people not having access to own firearms as well, that's a little bit tough. But what we do is we take people who haven't even owned or handled a gun before. We take them out. First thing when we get there, we start them by putting them on the range, teaching them the safety precautions, and letting them to take few shots, and then we take them into the jungle. And I'm telling you, we haven't had any of our first timers wounding an animal. Most of them, if not all of them, let me say, they get successful shot. But maybe it's beginner's luck. But they always successful on their first hunts.
Wow, that's interesting. What do you guys hunt? What is that behind you?
This is a gemsbok. They call it an oryx. In South Africa, we call it a gemsbok. It's mostly in the northern Cape of the country, which is close to the Kalahari Desert. It's very, very much adapted to that. So I drove all the way to, actually it was on the border of Northern Cape and Free State, where I took this one out.
Wow.
So I had to keep it. It's very beautiful if you can look at it. So I decided to do the head mount. Although I'm a biltong hunter, not a biltong hunter, more like a meat hunter, let's call it that, for everybody to understand. I'm a meat hunter more than a trophy hunter. Yeah. But this one I keep there because it's just beautiful.
It's amazing. Good harvest. For sure, good harvest.
Sure.
So,
yeah, no, thanks.
Why blacks are not represented more in the outdoors in South Africa?
I think it's well, apart from the history, as you know, the history as well of the country, we're only starting to transition now, and the cost as well of the outdoors, especially with hunting. Hunting doesn't come cheap, if I can just say. So a lot of people are starting now to get better jobs, better paying salaries. They get money. They know yes. Now the way they don't know where to spend it, and now they're starting to go outdoors. Because if you can see, before '94, most of the black people in the country were locked either in townships or in rural areas. So the first time the cities opened up, everybody flocked to the cities. But now they are saturated of city life. they want to do something different.
Yeah.
So that's how now we're starting now to move back to the outdoors. But there is a very good, what can I say, a good migration now of people now not wanting to have fun in the cities anymore, but they want to go out in the jungle and reconnect with nature. And I think they're also getting to learn more about nature. They get to know much about nature, hence they start appreciating it.
And about the appreciation, what can we as hunters and also even the government do to encourage more Black and brown people to take part in doing outdoor activities such as hunting?
Look, we have programs in the government in South Africa. They're doing a lot, but I think it's just that it's a little bit misdirected. Because if you know about this whole thing about the land redistribution, so now we get people who get given game farms, but I'm telling you, it's still a challenge because nobody knows about hunting. They go in there, they see the animals running around, they think it's meat, they take them all out, and saving some for the future, or else they would convert the farm into a livestock farm. So that's something that is not clearly and properly planned by the government, because I don't think they do proper research, and also due to meeting the quota, the inclusion of the youth and the women in the industry. Sometimes they give people farms based on that, and to me, look, it has to happen, but the people don't have the right skills to do that. I think the government of South Africa is trying, but they just not hitting the bullseye. They all over the target. So they just have to narrow and direct it properly. And I think as well with us, the programs that I'm running locally, I've got workshops that I run through Matlhalerwa Extreme Adventures where I introduce people into hunting. So I'm going all over the country. The program started about 3-4 months back, just after the lockdown. Then I started now advertising workshops. The response is beautiful. People are interested in becoming hunters. So I think by 2021, I will travel a lot. I will introduce a lot of people into that, because for us to have more Black people, we have to train them into hunting. And if we target the right people as well, because some they want to, they just don't know where to start.
That's very, very true. And the same issues you're facing in South Africa, the same ones that we're facing here in America, where there is a considerable large amount of Blacks that do hunt, but they're just not represented. And we have the government, and the government in America is definitely targeting women to get them into the outdoor activities such as hunting or just hikes. But there's no real workshops for Blacks, especially urban Blacks, to get them back into what our ancestors used to game. They used to hunt for their food. And we are so disconnected from that. So we definitely face the same challenge, and resources definitely have to be allocated to help, 1, workshops, 2, communication, 3, representation.
Yeah. Now look, we tried. There's an association that we started. It's called South African Black Hunters and Sports Shooting Association. I'm one of the founding members, but I had to resign from the association just to come and focus more on building up the business. But that's another move that we have made locally that we think it's gonna benefit and bear fruit in the long run. Because you see, the thing is, when people talk to someone who speak their language, like in South Africa, we got 9 official languages. So sometimes a language is a barrier, especially if you check the people who now have the land, mostly are Afrikaans-speaking people. And you get the people who, like the Black people, some of them can't speak Afrikaans. Those who can is just a few. So there always is
a form of Dutch.
Well, yeah, we can say that. Let's say it. It's a form of Yeah, I don't want to say.
It's a European language that was brought to Africa. That was named
Yes,
Afrikaan.
it was named Africans. Yes. So, um, I think once we bridge that gap, because also the Afrikaans people cannot speak proper English or proper African languages. So, but now if I come and I speak to the people in Tswana, in Zulu, and other languages, black languages, they feel free and they feel comfortable to even ask more questions. So I've taken it upon myself. I hope there's other people who will take that opportunity, and then we together can try to bring in more people. I mean, it's just like this past weekend. I had 2 new guys on my hand, and they did well. They did well.
Wow, that's amazing.
No, seriously, it's a beautiful thing because we get, especially on Facebook. I use Facebook as my marketing platform. That's where I get more than 90% of my business from. So, I mean, even you, I met you on Facebook.
Sure.
So, yeah, so I use Facebook a lot just to attract more people into this industry. So, I think in 3 years to come, we will have enough people. I'm telling you. That's one thing I'm looking at, and also to get more representation in government. The association that I was part of when I left, they were not yet accredited, but the government used to call us in to just come and say something. But we need 3 or 4 more associations, because if you look at let me call them the white associations. If you look at them, there's quite a lot of them. And once they go there, they speak in volumes, so their voices can be heard. But in South Africa, we have one, which is South African Black Hunters and Sports Shooting Association. And alone, I don't think they can, make that much noise, especially because now we use the democratic system, where now we have to vote on issues. They can easily get outvoted. But if we get more black associations as well, speaking the same language, speaking with the same voice, then that can effect changes. I mean, we got a lot of challenges. I don't know if I'm talking too much, but
no, you're good.
Yeah, no, I'm good. The thing is, it's something that's very close to my heart. I'll just go back in life when I was still growing up. I mean, we grew up with animals in our backyards. We used to trap animals for food, as in for survival. We needed them. There wasn't any other way that we can do. Just like just before one of my brothers, because I got 4 brothers, but my second eldest brother, before he went to the army, I'm telling you, he took a week. He went into the bush. He made sure that he catches enough meat to leave us, so that when he's out there in the army, then we have something to survive on. So we lived on that, but the rules of hunting in South Africa, they're so strict that people in the rural communities cannot use those resources. You wake up, there's an animal that's eating on your plants, or just grazing, I don't know, anything on your agricultural fields. And, you cannot just say, I'm going to take it as my food. When the hunting season comes, there's also strict regulations that says you cannot hunt here, you cannot hunt there. But we understand the point of departure for the government. It's also to control the population, to ensure that the animals are not harvested in large numbers.
Conservation.
But yeah, you see. But it's also said that somebody has to sleep on an empty stomach when there's, food roaming around. So those are the other challenges that maybe at a later stage we will be able to address, and we will be able to talk to the government and try to make sense. But the only way to make sense, we need to have workshops. We need these people as well to be educated on conservation. I mean, they cannot just go in and hunt. And the sad thing, they cannot afford to buy guns. So what do? They use snares, they use traps, they use dogs. And
How
those
hard is
are
it to
the
get a gun?
methods. Pardon?
How hard is it to get a gun? I'm looking at a picture of you with a silencer and a rifle and a scope. How hard is it in South Africa to get a gun?
Now look, I can say I was a bit privileged, but I got my first gun when I was my very first. It was for self-defense. Got it around 2004, and then I started working for SAB Miller, and there was one of my managers there who was a hunter. Sure, man. You should have told me. No, one of my managers there was an avid hunter, avid fisherman. So he used to, every time we had workshops, he would flash his hunting pictures, fishing pictures, his adventure pictures. And just there, I started now wanting that kind of life. And I told him, brother, look, I want to have a gun. He said, I'll help you. So he helped me through the process. I did I got my firearm license, and then from there I did my dedicated hunter status. I did dedicated sports shooter status, did skilled hunter status. Then after some time, then I trained to become a professional hunter, so that I can guide in the field.
You had a certification for that? There's a certification for all those steps?
Yeah, just wait. I'm going to try to show you. Let me try to turn the camera. Where do I do this? There. You see them there?
Oh my gosh.
You see this one here? It's your sports shooters, your skilled hunter, your dedicated hunter, professional hunter. So that's your predator management and control, game range economics, game lodge management, capture can management of wildlife. It's fishing there. It's everything. My wall is just
accomplished. Wow.
Yeah. So this for me is it's life, man. Sorry. Let me just turn the camera again.
Man, that's commitment for sure.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm struggling. Okay, there you go. Let me try to get the camera back in focus.
And I seen that you had a silencer. How hard is it to get a silencer in South Africa?
How hard is it to get a silencer?
Yeah, I got one right here.
All right. Yeah, I see.
How hard was it to get one of these?
No, it's easy. Once you have a gun, you can get a silencer. What's heavily regulated here is the firearm, the primers, and your bullets. So those are strictly controlled. But a silencer for your hunting rifle, it's actually on other farms it's compulsory. If you don't have a silencer, then you're not gonna come in and shoot an animal.
Why is America lagging behind? Do you know what I have to do to get this? I have to.
Is it hard?
Oh my gosh. All right. I have to take fingerprints.
Yeah.
Fill out these cards. Then I have to. For me, I have a trust, so I have to have like a living entity. I have to incorporate a living entity. Then follow this guidebook on actually finishing the process and send in $200 per silencer and wait 8, 10, maybe even a year to get this back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now look, if I silencer today in South Africa, I will get it in 3 days. As long as all they need to do is to, I'm telling you, but it's easy. I think it's easier for the Americans to get firearms than we do in South Africa. Because in South Africa, it's a waiting game. You can wait anything from 6 to 10 months. Look, the first 3 months, obviously, you have to do your theory and practical exam. And then after passing it, then you have to submit to the SAPS, the South African Police Services. Then depending on the amount of work they have. It's something that you can take about 5 to 6, 7 months. Others have had people who've waited for a year. Then from there, you get your competency certificate. Then you can purchase your gun. After purchasing your gun, then you have to submit to South African Police Services and say, I bought this firearm, give them the serial number. They have to put the gun on your name. But they're going to do all the credit, not your credit, your criminal checks. And, get your relatives, find out what kind of person you are, you violent and all that. Then after that, you can get your gun. So it's you can wait from 6 months to a year or even more.
Wow, just for a gun. Now let me ask you this: does this make South Africa safer?
Look, there's always guns that come in. South Africa, I think it's one of those countries that have got porous borders. So our borders are not. Yeah, our
drugs flow over, guns flow over.
Yeah, you see, so we got a lot of. I mean, if you can think of it, in South Africa, a fully automatic gun is illegal. You cannot have a fully automatic gun. But the guns that are used to commit crime, like your AK-47s that they use, they're fully automatic. So they don't come from within the country. They come from outside. But how, we don't know. And you know what's bad? We, the legal gun owners, are the ones who now are facing the challenge, because now the government wants to discipline us because someone else has an illegal firearm in the country.
Yeah,
so that's the sad story.
That's the same here in America.
Yeah, no, I think it's all over the world. The good guys are the ones that get punished for the bad guys.
Such a sad place.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's one of the things that are just not making us happy. But yeah, what can we say? So tell me about can you tell me about the firearm process in the United States? How long does it take to get a firearm?
Well, truly speaking, there are two ways to do it. The first way is to go to a gun store or to go to a gun show or a gun store. Yeah. You get a firearm. So in my state, there's no waiting period. The NICS system can take about a day or two, but usually it's not. It's as soon as you walk in, pretty much walk out. It's about a 2-hour process.
Wow.
Now the other option is just buying from a friend or a private seller. So this is someone who doesn't do business in firearms, who doesn't sell guns. So all you have to do is, let's say I have a gun on GunBroker or whatnot, and if we're in the area, you can come and you and I can meet up at a designated location, and I'll just take your information. As long as you tell me that you're not a felon, I know you not to be a felon or someone who can not legally possess.
Wow.
I can give you right there on the spot.
Wow. No, that's a little bit too quick. Why do they need to get license for this when actually this doesn't kill?
That's what I'm saying. It actually helps with protection of your ears and the environment. Yeah. You're not polluting. You're not shooting out noise into the environment.
Yeah. I mean, this is not lethal on its own. I mean, it's actually not lethal at all because the bullet travels through this and then it gets there.
It's a muffler for guns. It's just a muffler for guns.
No, seriously. So I don't understand why, because it's the other way around. Because, I mean, I understand why in South Africa it has to happen like that. I mean, because what they do here, they even get to a point where they ask you to give 3 references: your neighbor, your family member, and a friend. So they would phone them and find out about you. Small things like assault. You will never get a firearm if you have an assault case, if you have any protection order against you. So that to us, I don't know, maybe it's because we're used to the system, but that to me makes more sense than having to regulate the silencer and not the firearm.
Agreed.
Yeah. No, man. Yeah, that's about it. Come to South Africa sometime, man.
Man, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to go to
No,
East Cape, Durban, Pretoria. God,
yeah.
a lot of. I want to see. Oh man, I gotta plan that trip.
Now you look, talk to me. I'll make it possible.
All right.
We will talk. It's a pity, man. I don't have a game farm of my own. But if I had, I would just offer you a free hand. Come here, come with us.
Nah,
But
man, I'm
now
definitely gonna take a hunt. We're definitely gonna go hunting. I'm gonna come out there.
yeah,
We're gonna go hunting for sure.
sure. That's the other stumbling block. Like I'm saying, yeah. You see, I I am in the hunting industry, but it's very difficult for me to get a farm
Hmm.
because I'm not young anymore. I'm not categorized as youth. I'm not a person with disability. I'm not a woman. So it's very, very difficult. If I get there, then already, and I'm not a military veteran as well. So those are the four people that actually, in most cases, get an upper hand when it comes to acquiring land. But the skill I have, I don't think most of those people that get the land have. But it's a system that the government put in place. So that's about it. But
But
look, I'm making ends meet. I'm talking to farmers. I've made friends with farmers. So I'm using their farms. And then, yeah, that's it.
wow, man, resourceful.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
no,
know,
look,
my final question is: what can an individual, person of color, who is interested in starting a hunt here in America or in South Africa, for your example, do to get started? How do I go about becoming a hunter? How do I, from I don't know, jailbird, decide to become a hunter? How does that happen?
look, in South Africa, the system is very clear. The professional hunting um, qualification, you only need it to accompany people who are non-South Africans hunting on our land. Because the thing is, to have someone who's not from South Africa going into the jungle armed with a gun without anybody monitoring them, then it's going to be a problem. So hence we have this professional hunting qualification. But as a local person, you just need to be a member of a hunting association or a hunting club. You need to tell them where you're going to hunt. If you have been on a hunt before, like today I was writing a testimonial for one of the guys that I've been on a hunt with. He's acquiring his first hunting firearm. So I just had to testify that this man has hunted with me. He's a keen hunter. He deserves to have a hunting rifle. So you get somebody to do that. Then once you've done that and you own a hunting rifle, there's two ways you can hunt in South Africa. You can hunt on government land. On government land, they give out coaches every year during the hunting season, which starts in May, and then it runs up until August in other provinces, and in some it's until the end of July. So you go there, you
And that's
get
your winter,
a
right?
permit to hunt. Pardon?
Is that your winter?
Yes, that's our winter.
Okay.
That's your summer.
Yes.
So it's the opposite. Today, this time it's summer here. So now, yeah, you get that. Once you have the permit, they will tell you, they'll give you a back limit. A back limit will tell you how many animals you can shoot through the season, and then they will tell you which species to shoot. So you get that, you can go out and hunt. That's number one. A private game farm is exempted. They get what they call a certificate of adequate enclosure to prove that the animals they have on their land, they are adequately enclosed and they cannot escape and they belong to them. So then those people are exempted. They can hunt throughout the year because they monitor the breeding cycle, they monitor the movement of the animals. They know the population, so they control it. So the minimum requirements here, it's you need to hunt on a 400 hectare farm. I don't know. I cannot convert. I think in US you use a
We know it's
different.
large. Yeah, different system.
Yeah, that's the minimum. That's the minimum. I was in Northern Cape this year. I was hunting on an 18,000 hectare farm. So it's more like your game reserve. So I hunted that, had to take shots at about 600 meters. That was far. I'm telling you, that's where now your stalking skills come in. You got to creep in behind just to get closer because Northern Cape, it's your grassland, more closer to the Kalahari where these species dominate. There's no long trees, it's your savanna, just small trees there. So the animal sees you from miles away. So you gotta now be able to crawl in, camouflage, get closer, be at a very nice shooting distance, and then you can shoot. You see, so that's how hunting happens here. So we got different sizes of farms. But the minimum requirement is 400 hectares. You cannot hunt on less than 400 hectares because now it's more like your canned hunting. It's like, you're keeping them in a cage. So that's why they say they have a minimum. They don't have a maximum. They have a minimum. Yeah.
Sky's the limit. Man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you and can't wait to actually meet you. I'm definitely gonna come out to South Africa when this COVID mess is all over. I'm catching flights, so expect me to come.
No, definitely, I'm expecting you to come. Maybe I will come there before you come here.
Please do. You always have a place to stay.
Sure, man. No,
Thank
thanks,
you, brother. Appreciate it, and we'll stay in touch.
Sure, thanks, man.
Later,
Ciao.
man. Bye.
Great.